Our 4th generation rival, Barry, is a fairly difficult rival. We see him over the course of our adventures in the Sinnoh region, but just how strong was Barry? In today's video, we'll be comparing Barry to the other rivals in order to see how strong Barry was. We'll be breaking down Barry's game, anime, and manga teams, with the end goal being comparing how strong Barry was among the other rivals. Looking over Barry's career, we actually know most of this due to Barry being a rival. We know at the very least, Barry did end up completing the Sinnoh Elite Four, which is really one of the only things that would be on his resume. The next strongest achievement would be Barry having one of the highest level Pokemon in the entire Pokemon series. If you've entered the Hall of Fame 20 times, Barry will have an ace at level 85, which is only actually passed by Red's Pikachu. Other than having one of the highest level Pokemon in the entire franchise and beating the Sinnoh Elite Four, Barry hasn't really achieved much. First, for Barry's teams, his teams are the same Pokemon-wise, at least in Diamond and Pearl versus Platinum. If you choose Turtwig, his team ends up being Staraptor, Floatzel, Roserade, Heracross, Snorlax, and Infernape. Overall, this is actually a fairly balanced team, with his final team overall having strong options for most types. I would argue his biggest weakness would be electric types, but there are Pokemon like Snorlax that are able to at least potentially check these thanks to Earthquake. Besides Floatzel, Barry actually has a lot of really strong Pokemon here too, with most of these Pokemon being some of the best options he could have possibly obtained in these games. The only real flaw I could see would be Heracross being here, since Barry doesn't really need to have 2 fighting types. Also, there is no actual flying resist on this team, which is definitely harmful since Barry has 3 Pokemon weak to flying. While still a strong option, I would honestly argue this is Barry's weakest team due to that point alone. Going over Barry's team, if you choose Chimchar, Barry uses Staraptor, Roserade, Rapidash, Heracross, Snorlax, and Empoleon. I feel like this is probably Barry's second best team, with a few unique things going for it. This is Barry's only team with the flying resist, which is important with how many flying weaknesses this team has. Barry also ends up having 1 fighting type here, which definitely helps, seeing as we didn't really need 2 on Barry's roster to begin with. One big thing though is this team still ends up being fairly weak to electric, which definitely is further increased by adding Empoleon to the mix. I would definitely still rate this team highly, however I think Barry's final team is his greatest. Barry's final team is the result of choosing Piplup. His team in this setting would be Staraptor, Rapidash, Floatzel, Heracross, Snorlax, and Torterra. I feel like you could make an argument for the Empoleon or Torterra team being his strongest. However, despite how Floatzel and Rapidash are overall weaker Pokemon, I feel like this one has the strongest synergy. This is Barry's only team with an electric immunity, which is helpful with 2 Pokemon weak to the typing. Torterra also offers a pretty strong option offensively around both starter Pokemon, which overall helps at least for Barry's matchups. Barry's biggest weakness here is flying. However, Torterra at the very least can damage them with Stone Edge if nothing else. While I don't feel any of Barry's teams are truly unbeatable, I feel like this personally has the best synergy. Among all of Barry's teams, I would still rate these fairly high among the others. There definitely are stronger teams from the rivals, such as Blue's team if you choose Squirtle in Fire Red and Leaf Green for his champion rematch, which is Heracross, Alakazam, Tyranitar, Gyarados, Arcanine, and Venusaur. Other rivals of strong teams would be Wally's Battle Mason team of Roserade, Talonflame, Azumarill, Magnezone, Garchomp, and Mega Gallade, which would be a fairly good competitor, as well as the strongest rival team being Hop's Slumbering Will team in Shield, being Double, Snorlax, Pinkerton, Corviknight, Cinderace, and Zacian. While Wally and Blue definitely are on par with Barry for overall the strongest rival, I think Hop's team definitely outclasses Barry's even with 2 steel types and 2 normal types. Going over the anime, Barry actually has another fairly strong team. His team here would be Empoleon, Staraptor, Roserade, Heracross, Hitmonlee, and Skarmory. While not as strong as his in-game teams, Barry still has a lot of strong options with this team. It seems like Barry still doesn't know what an electric switch-in would be, seeing as he has 2 weaknesses on his team. Maybe Barry would benefit from having changed Hitmonlee for a ground type such as Rhyperior. Even still, this team definitely can support the dual fighting types with 2 steals to switch against psychic and flying types. This definitely would be Barry's weakest team so far. However, knowing a lot of trainers use monotype teams in this series, I definitely wouldn't say Barry has the weakest team overall. Comparing Barry's anime team for other rivals, I would really only say 3 actually rival. The only 2 rivals that actually compare would both actually come from the Sinnoh region, being Paul and Tobias. If you count Tobias as a rival, his team is clearly the strongest, because even with just Latios and Darkrai being revealed, he won the entire Sinnoh League. This was also against one of Ash's arguably strongest teams of all time, which is astounding. Paul has countless Pokemon, and while his on-hand team is pretty lackluster, if you count Pokemon he has with Reggie, he has a lot of powerhouses such as Torterra, Weavile, and Gliscor. I would say both of them surpass Barry. However, otherwise, Barry's team is surprisingly good compared to other rivals. Even Gary had a lot of unappealing Pokemon, and just seemed to have a scuffed version of Paul's potential Pokemon in my opinion. Going over the manga, Barry has probably his worst team in the main storyline. Barry is referred to as Pearl here, and his team is Chatot, Infernape, Luxray, Buizel, Tauros, and Diglett. Barry's team here is definitely fairly lackluster, and besides Tauros, Infernape, and Luxray, his team is fairly weak. Having 2 unevolved Pokemon definitely hurts, especially seeing as all of Barry's other teams have been very threatening with fully evolved Pokemon that are rather strong as well. Overall, this team has a lot of weaknesses to types such as Electric, Ground, and Rock, which overall hurt the team that much more. It's definitely pretty unfortunate as well, because between Barry's former Pokemon and his Pokemon in side stories, Barry has some monstrous Pokemon in his overall roster. Barry used to have Palkia, Manaphy, and Phione, which were all part of his team in the main storyline. In Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Adventures, Barry had Torterra, Staraptor, Dragonite, and Mime Jr. Barry's alternative versions overall have some absolutely terrifying Pokemon, and I wish the manga gave him even 1 or 2 of these Pokemon, or at least a fully evolved team. So, how does his team compare to other manga rivals? I think there are 3 rivals with stronger teams, but their teams all blow Barry's out of the water. First we have Blue, who has a handful of Pokemon such as Mega Charizard Y, Scizor, Machamp, Porygon 2, and many others. Blue definitely has the strongest team of any rival, and I wouldn't even say it's close. We also have Silver, who has a mostly dark and water themed team with Weavile, Kingdra, Honchkrow, Feraligatr, Gyarados, and Ursaring. Besides the Ursaring left with Giovanni, he has the rest on hand. Despite Silver's team with a lot of weaknesses to things like Electric and Rock, overall at the very least, the Pokemon themselves are fairly strong compared to Barry's. Finally, we have Sapphire's team, with Aggron, Blaziken, Tropius, Donphan, and Gallade. I would say Sapphire has the weakest of these teams. However, I would still definitely rate it above Barry's. I would definitely rate Barry as one of the strongest rivals among the entire franchise. I feel like Barry definitely ended up tanking his potential rival score in the manga department due to how lackluster his team is. But overall, his anime and game teams are some of the strongest we've ever seen. I hope we can one day get a rival as strong as Barry to return to the franchise, as well as the remakes finding some way to make Barry an even stronger rival. 2 of the rivals who we rated over Barry, being Wally and Blue, we rated over him purely because of their teams from their respective remakes. With this in mind, I hope that the new games find a way to improve upon Barry's overall team, which is already pretty terrifying. Well, that wraps up my analysis on how strong I think Barry is. Barry definitely is the poster child for what a good rival team should look like, and I hope more rival teams take after his in the future. Let me know what you think of Barry though in the comments below, and also let me know what trainer you would like to see me cover next. Hey, welcome to my new outro. A big thank you to everyone for watching the video. I want to give a huge thanks to my phenomenal team, and for the amazing art done each week by Danny the Demon. I couldn't do all this without them. If y'all enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be sure to leave a comment too, it really helps us out. I have a brand new TikTok for Mystic Umbreon, and I've got a goal to get 10k followers over there. If we can hit that goal, I'm going to pick a random video suggested to me by you guys and do it. So go over there and leave a follow. Also over on MysticSage, we've still got 2 videos going up every weekend. We've got content from My Hero, to Demon Slayer, to Dragon Ball, so come and check it out. And also check out MysticSage on TikTok. Finally, I've got an Amazon store where I sell tons of cool stuff. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm MysticUmbreon, and I'll see you next time with some more amazing Pokemon content.